Hey everyone, hope everyone is having a good week. I know it started out a little tough, but I just wanted to check in now that we're pretty much 1 month into 2020, and just wanted to hear about your stories. What's worked, what hasn't worked, what's going on, what new things have you learned? And another thing that came to mind was that I remember at the beginning of the year and end of 2019, there were a lot of posts talking about some of the things and some of the challenges that we would be leaving behind in the last decade and in 2019. And so there wasn't that much talk about what we would be taking forward with us into 2020 and beyond. And so I just wanted to come in and check in to find out what some of those things were, because I think at the end of the day, we can't discount the lessons we've learned and the journeys that we've been on for the last decade. So the first thing that I am taking into 2020 and beyond is that small wins count. If you have been following me for a little while, then you've probably heard me say this before, but a win is a win is a win. And so even if that win doesn't equate to a whole bunch of zeros in your bank account, or it doesn't equate to a major client, doesn't mean that that win isn't a win to be counted. I think that oftentimes, especially on social media, we only see the major wins and we don't talk that much about some of the smaller things that got us to the big win. And so I encourage you to continue to count those small wins, because they do count. And I'll share one small win of mine. Samson and I, as you know, have a workbook, a raising money equity crowdfunding workbook, and we put it on Amazon, and they do a through the Kindle publishing online. They pay you royalties when they sell the book, when people purchase it via Amazon. And so I think in December, in November, we might have gotten like $4 and some change, but in December, we got like $10, right? And so the ebooks are, a few dollars. And so to see that, it's a small amount of money, but the fact that we figured it out and we made it work and people actually bought the book, that is a win to be counted, okay? So number 2 is this, I call it my growing ability to say no. And it's still hard. I'm not going to say that it's totally easy for me. There are definitely times where I feel like I really want to help this person. I really want to be, helpful and beneficial to whatever their ask is. But at the same time, I have to think about, what does that mean for me? What would I have to give up to be able to do whatever it is that they're asking? And secondly, or maybe this should be the first question, do they even respect my time, right? Because oftentimes people are asking you to do things for them and to help them out, but they don't necessarily respect the time and effort and energy you put in to assisting them. And so when you're considering what clients to take on, what projects to take on, what trips to go on, what conferences to go to, what programs or certificates to sign up for, you have to think about what effect that would have on your time. And so I am still working on it, but I feel like my ability to say no is becoming easier and easier to do. So that is something that I will continue to do, because it makes such a difference on how I view my time and so that I can show people that because I respect my time, you have to respect my time too, right? Okay, so the last thing that I want to, share in terms of what I'm taking into 2020 is the drive for learning. I do not know it all. Oftentimes when people call you an expert, there's this assumption that you know it all. So any question that's asked of you, you have to give an answer. And that's not true. I've learned very early, long before I was doing any of this, that if I don't know, it's better for me to say that I don't know than to act as I do and then put and start rambling and saying things that don't necessarily make sense, because I really don't know. So I think that's something that we should be comfortable saying. I don't know, but I can find out. Or I don't know, but this person knows. And in addition to that, right, figuring out how can you find out so that the next person who asks you, you do know how to answer that question, or you have a better way of kind of figuring out how to help that person. So it's not necessarily about just passing off some of the work or some of the learning, but it's also looking into yourself and thinking, okay, if someone's asking me this question and this is something that I'm interested in, and this is something I like to be able to answer and I'd like to know, then I have to invest in myself and figure out how to do that. Hashtag invest in yourself. That's another thing that I like. I should be taking into 2020. Hashtag invest in yourself. All right, so I'm gonna leave it here, but please share in the comments, what are some things that you are taking into 2020, or you have already taken into 2020, and that you will be continuing to do beyond